Hello and welcome, my name is John Valentine, and today I'll be talking about how you can build an influencer network. So of course, influencer marketing is a huge topic and the backbone of social media marketing, and so today I'll be talking about how you can find your influencers and build your network. And so as you can see on screen, the table of content here, these are some of the topics that I'll be talking about. First, I'm going to be talking about official accounts, utilizing certain tools and third-party websites. You can use agencies, choosing your influencers, and then the impact of actual influencer marketing, and I will be talking more about that kind of general influencer marketing and just in general on how to basically create your network of influencers. And of course at the end, just a little conclusion, summary, and final thoughts. So if you can't wait to skip to any of these topics, make sure of course to watch this certain part, but if not, the best way to consume this content is just sit back and take in all this information and watch from beginning to end. Feel free to put any questions you have in the discussion down below, of course, but other than that, enough said, and let's move right into the first topic here. So one of the first steps of creating a valuable influencer database is having an official account. So what you want to of course do is operate your social media accounts efficiently. Create various entertaining content and of course focus on the quality of your fan base, not just the number of followers. Now this will come into play with your influencer database later on, but basically what you want to have is that more followers don't convert means nothing basically, because if you have followers, what you want to focus on of course is making the sale. Right? If you have a lot of followers, you want to have brand awareness, you want to have people that care about your brand. And when you want to do that is you basically want to create this kind of content where people will actually care about what you put out. And at the end of the day, when you have a product going on sale, if you have something going live and so on, then you will want people to tune in, you will want people to engage with that item, whatever it is. Let's say you're designing a t-shirt and you're putting it out. If you have, 1 million followers, but you get 200 sales or you get 100 sales, you might want to think about the kind of followers and the kind of fans that you're creating and attracting with your influencers, or just in general with the sort of people that you choose. Because when it comes to influencer marketing, having official accounts is very, very important. You want to have people that actually have a high engagement rate, because if you have someone, like I said, with 200,000 followers but they get 100 likes, how are you going to use them in order to sell any of your products? So looking out for official accounts, and not just verified accounts, by official accounts I mean accounts that are actually good and valid when it comes to influencer marketing, is definitely key in driving sales and driving products. And that's how a lot of people actually waste money, is by not really checking the engagement rate, by not seeing how involved their communities are. And you can do this as easily as just going on their account and checking the number of comments and likes compared to the number of followers. Like I said, if you have 200,000 followers and then they only get 15 comments and 100 likes, how do you think that's going to go when you they promote your t-shirt? You'll be lucky if you get one sale. So looking out for official accounts is definitely key in creating a good influencer database. That's the first step. You want to identify accounts that actually make sense. And so like I said, you definitely don't want just these bogus accounts, especially sometimes this happens when people bot their following. They just buy 50,000 followers, but all those are basically just bots that don't really engage with that person's content. So that's the first step in creating this database, is finding good, official, and I don't mean verified, but good, useful, and worthwhile accounts. So let's move on to the second step. So moving on, of course, as I said, finding the correct influencers is key. And the way you can also help do this is by utilizing certain tools. There are an endless amount of websites that provide you with the ability to connect to influencers directly. You can use, for example, MuseFind, Upfluence, Aspire IQ. You can Google all these, or you can just use Google and find influencer networks. And you will find a lot of websites that actually connect you with influencers, and they give you the exact statistics, and this allows you to find influencers that are actually worthwhile and will also help you save time and focus on the actual brand strategies. Because finding the right influencers is the problem for many brands. Is you can see this and ask some of these brands that I've worked with as well. Some of these people just don't know how to find the correct influencers, and I don't blame them, because it is hard to find good influencers in the social media landscape out there. If you go on Instagram, for example, there's so many influencers that look good, and even their following and their engagement rate is not that bad, but then somehow they don't get sales. Sometimes it's just it doesn't correlate with your brand. For example, if you have a specific influencer and their whole message and their whole sort of persona doesn't fit with your brand, then that product will not sell well. And you can use these tools and websites in order to connect with influencers that you might think will actually do well with your brand. You can see what niched in, fitness, lifestyle, whatever it is that you're doing. You can see their statistics, how many followers they have, the engagement rate, and so on and so on and so on. You can definitely use these websites in order to find the correct influencers. So, piggybacking up the first video that I talked about here with finding official accounts, this is basically the second step in this, and basically a major player when it comes to finding the influencers and essentially building your influencer database. Because when you build your network, you definitely want to create these kind of connections with people where that they connect your brand well, or just are well suited for whatever it is that you have in mind. So utilizing these tools and third-party websites is definitely a very important step in building your network. So like I said, feel free to Google MuseFind, Upfluence, InspireIQ, and so on to find the correct website that you need. Now, the third step that you can use is agencies. Now, this is similar to the websites that I previously mentioned, where they just provide you with a list of influencers, basically, and then helps you connect with them and build connections. But an agency is like one step further. Basically, it's a full-on marketing agency that provides you with influencers and does all the work for you. You basically just go to them and say, my budget is $5,000. I have a new dog toy that I want to promote, and then they just do all the work for you, provide you with it. They find the influencers, they run the marketing campaigns. A lot of the times, depending on the case, obviously they will provide and design the graphics for you, and so on. So using agencies in order to build your database can also be very beneficial, because they will provide you with the connection to some of these influencers that you can also use in the future. So using agencies and partnering with them can be a very worthwhile activity as well. Of course, as always, you want to find the right agency that connects you with the right partners and the right influencers. So that's also obviously at your own discretion. You can use that in whatever way you should. And then the second option when it comes to agencies, you can build your own in-house agency. Now, this is harder to do. Obviously, requires more time, effort, and at some point probably employees. So depending on how big your operation is, you can start to build your own in-house agency, basically putting it on your marketing team to create this influencer database, because having a lot of influencers that work well is priceless in today's society with social media and the whole marketing social media landscape. And so building your own in-house agency that you have full control over, first of all, you don't have to pay people specific commissions or marketing campaign fees, because you're not working with an agency because they work for you. You just have your own costs when it comes to time, employee fees, whatever it is, membership, software, and so on. But it's definitely also a opportunity that you should consider, is where you just have your full-on in-house agency and influencer marketing agency within your company. Again, this is hard to do, and obviously it depends on your budget, your size, and your operation. But using agencies can definitely be a viable option, and definitely a good idea if you find the right agency that you can partner with in order to give you that boost, that spot that you need. Now, I just want to reiterate and talk about this idea of choosing influencers, because it is basically the most important step. And as I said previously, focus on engagement rate, not followers, but also let the influencer be creative in their way of advertising. So first of all, when I said focus on engagement rate, not followers, there are certain calculations you can do in order to actually just calculate a full engagement rate. You can also just Google engagement rate calculator. Some websites do provide you with the option to calculate this. But basically, it's this idea of factoring in all aspects of a social media account and not just looking at the followers. Like I said, not just looking at, oh, this guy has 500,000 followers, great, let's use him. Fitness Instagram guy with 500,000 followers. Let's send our dumbbells to this guy for him to promote. Definitely not a good idea. If you want to look at that account, look at the number of comments he gets, look at the number of likes he gets. Maybe you can even talk to him and find out how many story views he gets, how much increase in followers they have this month, how much increase in views on Instagram stories they get this month, and so on. You can use this in order to just full on find the whole background information on that account. And if you want to work with them, they should be more than ready to provide that information. So you as a person paying them, especially when it is paid and not just, let's say, a product sample provision. For example, if you give them a free T-shirt and they will, advertise that product for you, of course, in that aspect, it's probably easier to not, ask any questions, and they'll be like, you can either send it to me or don't, whatever. It depends on how big they are. I've had this experience a lot with some of these influencers, but if you pay them, if you want to pay for something, then you're going to want all the information, and they should be more than happy to provide it to you. So don't feel like you can't ask them that, or, it's like something that you shouldn't do, but, there are, like I said, websites you can use, like SocialBait and so on, that you can utilize in order to find their statistics and their trending engagement, their trending number of followers and so on. But finding out all this information is definitely important before you pay for something or work with them and so on. And now the second part here is also let the influencer be creative in their way of advertising. I've talked about this a lot when it comes to influencer marketing. The preferred way to do that is just let people be natural. Be like, this is the dumbbells. If you have, again, let's say you have a guy with a fitness account, and dumbbells, be like, instead of giving them a specific, text or a specific way to create something, you have to put this in the bottom right corner, and you have to put this dumbbell on a white background and do blah, blah, blah. A lot of the times it's better to just be like, here's the product, let's see what you got, let's see how you would do it, and we'll be happy if it looks good and so on. Letting people be creative and natural in their own way of advertising is, way better most of the time, just because it looks more natural to the fans and the followers as well. If you have, especially when it comes to integrated video content, TikTok, YouTube, and so on, it's just way easier to create content that's natural, and it also looks better to the viewer because it doesn't look so staged and fake and just takes people out of the video. Of course, in YouTube, if it's a pre-roll, mid-roll ad, like, this video is sponsored by blah, 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 of course that's going to take you out, but there are also integrated placements and product placement where people just make full-on videos with, specific things or whatever. Let's say you're a food eating challenge YouTuber, and you have a restaurant and you send them a plate of barbecue, whatever it is, meat, all barbecue meats, and you say, here's the whole plate of barbecue meats, here's it for free, and we'll pay you $1,000 if you upload it on your YouTube video. Then they can make a full video of just having a eating challenge of, I have to eat this whole thing, and the challenge is to eat this whole thing, eat this whole plate of barbecue meat or whatever it is. Now, if they have other videos that are just like eating the McDonald's menu, eating the KFC menu, there are YouTubers who do videos like that, then this will be very natural, and this look very natural. And then they might just say in the beginning, and I was sent this for free by this company, make sure to check them out. But now let's get right into the challenge kind of thing. That looks way more natural than other very staged and, sort of, I don't want to say fake, but of course very forced ideas of influencer marketing. So that, of course, plays in the role as well. This just natural and creative way of letting the influencer choose themselves on how they want to advertise that product is going to work way better than forcing them to do a specific way. So definitely something to keep in mind when it comes to choosing influencers and just working with influencers in general. Now, lastly, I do just want to talk a little bit about the impact of influencer marketing, maybe give you some statistics, just because even though nowadays, most marketers know that influencer marketing is the best way to go when it comes to social media marketing, I feel like sometimes it's still underrated in the way that it's perceived. So let's look at some statistics. For example, 17% of companies spend over half the marketing budget on influencers. 17%. That's way less than I think a lot of people would think. Now, it is half their marketing budget on influencers, but where does the other half go? And where does the other, 83% go when it comes to companies spending money? There's a lot of people that still spend money on print ads, TV ads, and so on. And of course, that might work for a lot of companies, but I think the smaller production you are, influencer marketing is definitely the way to go. If you have a smaller company, a small business, whatever it is, and you have a certain budget, let's say like $1,000 a month, then creating Facebook ads, creating Instagram ads is the way to go. Influencer marketing can be used, of course, with those as well, Facebook ads and Instagram ads, but just influencer marketing in general is also a very good idea to build trust, brand awareness, and just connection with viewers and followers and fans, whatever it is, because influencer marketing is something that I think what you have to keep in mind with influencer marketing is it's not just a straight promotion. Let's say you have a person with 1 million followers and they're a lifestyle brand, and you give them, a t-shirt to promote. You're not just giving 1 million people the chance to see your t-shirt. You're letting that influencer be almost like a spokesperson, because it's not just, it's not like they're just posting that picture for a million people to see. It's not like a billboard. It's a walking billboard, because it's also an endorsement by the person who's posting that product, because they're saying, I like this product so much that I want to advertise it. I like this product so much that I'm willing to work with them. And a lot of influencers don't just work with any brands. And so this, of course, also builds that authenticity, and it just shows how they also believe in that product. So influencer marketing is just genius, and it's definitely something that you should get into if you have the budget for it. And secondly, let's see here, 89% say ROI from influencer marketing is comparable to or better than other marketing channel. 89% say that it's at least as good, if not better, than other marketing channels. And now we see that, of course, most people, 89%, that's almost, that's 89%, that's 11% from 100%. So a lot of people, and most people, think that influencer marketing is the way to go. And of course, last but not least, I do have to mention that Instagram ranks #1 for the most important and impactful channel. I think a lot of people would guess that too if it comes to influencer marketing. YouTube is, of course, also up there, just because of integrated video content, and the view on YouTube is worth much more than on, like say, an Instagram story or a TikTok and so on, because it's a much more invested view from the viewer, because watching a YouTube video is more, I wouldn't want to say effort, than watching other videos, because it's just, most of the time a longer video, and of course a harder way to find it, if you know what I'm trying to say there. But basically, Instagram is still the king of social media. It just is. Even though TikTok is up there with the ranks, the amount of views that you get on TikTok is crazy, but it doesn't convert well when it comes to actual sales, and and brand awareness and so on. It does help with brand awareness, building knowledge around your brand and knowing who you are. So it's definitely a great area to build brand awareness. But if you want to drive sales and sell your product directly, then Instagram is definitely #1, and it still is. And I'm honestly excited to see how long it will be #1. See if anything knocks it off the #1 spot. But yeah, that's basically for influencer marketing. Let's move into the summary, final thoughts, and some conclusion. So just to summarize and conclude some of these thoughts, basically you do want to have official accounts. You want to look at accounts that are useful, worthwhile, and actually have a good following, no bot followers, no low engagement rate, and so on. And then of course you want to utilize tools, third-party websites, in order to maybe analyze these accounts, and also use websites like AspireIQ in order to find actual influencers and build your network. And of course you can also use agencies to connect you with people and help you run those marketing campaigns, again depending on your budget. And last, I talked about choosing influencers, on the correct way to choose influencers, basically focusing on engagement rate and the overall account, not just the number of followers. And also when it comes to influencer marketing, focusing on letting them be natural, letting them do their own thing is most of the time way better than just forcing them to have a script or whatever it is. And last but not least, I mentioned some statistics when it comes to the impact of influencer marketing, and realizing the everlasting sort of amazing impression that it leaves on people, and just the great opportunity that influencer marketing has on all channels. Even though Instagram is #1, TikTok, YouTube, and so on still work very, very well when it comes to influencer marketing overall. So this is definitely something to consider. And of course, I hope this video helped you realize how to create a network database and basically an influencer network. Again, you want to focus on having good official accounts. You want to use certain websites to help you rake those influencer accounts in, and then you do want to connect with them and build that relationship, and then have a great database and network in order to use them for marketing, product placement, integration, and so on. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, make sure to put them in the discussion below, and make sure to follow me on my YouTube channel, and of course make sure to follow this account as well. I will be putting out one video a week throughout 2021, guaranteed. I will be putting out one video a week when it comes to digital marketing, all things Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever it is. There's so many things that I will be talking about: creating cold emails, building influencer network databases, like I said here. So you do not want to miss that, and make sure to click the follow button. But other than that, I do hope you enjoyed your stay and learned a lot. Feel free to click around any of the parts of the video if you want to watch them again. But other than that, that will be it. So thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.